So we talked about what vertex form is. Now what can we do with it? And if they give me a vertex and an a value, then I could write the equation in vertex form. Remember that y and x, those are the ones that we can bold because they're the variables that are going to stay. Everything else gets replaced. Oops, and I missed my a. So y equals a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. So when I do this example, y is equal to the a value, -4, times the quantity x minus h, so x minus 3, and square it, then add the k value, which in this case is 7. And poof, we have vertex form. So those are the easy versions. Let me give you one to try on your own. If I tell you that the vertex is at the point -5, -3, and the a value is equal to 1/2. Can you write the equation of this parabola in vertex form? Pause it, try it, come back and check your work. All right, so check your work. Did you end up with y equals 1/2 times the quantity x plus 5 squared minus 3? Pretty sure you did. So now we go to the harder version. All right, so the harder version, or the more complicated way that we'll be asked to do vertex form, is if I'm given a problem that's in standard form. And to do that, I need to change it from standard into vertex by completing the square. So the first thing we'll do is, here are my steps that I'm going to follow down here, 4 steps. The first is that I'm going to be given a problem in standard form. So I'm going to have something like y equals x squared minus 6x plus 4. If this is the case, if this is the problem that we get, then our first step is to take the y out and put a 0 in, because complete the square looks much more comfortable if I have a 0 in there. You don't have to do this step, and once you get comfortable with it, you may not want to, and you don't have to. So this first step of replace the y with a 0 just makes it a little bit easier on our eyes. So 0 is equal to x squared minus 6x plus 4. So just like we did complete the square, our next job is to take the constant and put it on the other side. So in this case, that means we're going to subtract 4, because this is not a perfect square trinomial. So we're getting the isolate the x terms is what we call it. So we'll have -4 equals x squared minus 6x. Now we're going to do the complete the square piece. Remember that means that I need to decide what I'm going to add to the left and to the right. I did right then left. So I need to decide what I'm going to add. To make that decision, we do the same thing we did in complete the square. So what times itself would give you x squared? That would be an x. We take our b value and divide by 2, so -3. And now I have a perfect square. I need to create a perfect square trinomial. So I take the 3 and I square it. So we'll add 9. And whatever I do on the right-hand side of the equation, I also need to do on the left. 9 plus -4, that's a 5. So I've now complete the square. That's where I'm at. I am not going to take the square root. Notice my directions that I want to change it into vertex form. Did not say solve. So do not solve or do not use square roots because we are not solving. The last step is to create vertex form. And to do that, we need to put the 0 and the y back in. So 0 comes first. So we'll subtract 5 from both sides. So we now have 0 equals x minus 3, the quantity squared, minus 5. And then the 0 comes out and the y goes back in. Y equals the quantity x minus 3 squared minus 5. And that is how you change from standard form into vertex form. So from standard into vertex. I'll give you one to try. So your directions say change from standard form into vertex form. Go ahead and give this problem a try. I hope you paused your work, and I hope that seeing the notes alongside this example was helpful. I have one more thing for us to do with vertex form, so you have one last video to watch.